I've spoken in numerous audios about people taking on other people's negative situation, partially because of guilt or because they're soft-hearted, or they may feel that they could have contributed to that person's problem, so they feel emotionally obligated to help them through it. And, people are in it. And they know they shouldn't be involved in it, but they feel a certain level of guilt or obligation to this person because of a relationship or something that could have happened in the past. So they're hemmed up in this negative situation. They're caught up and they don't know what to do. And it seems like they're more concerned about the situation than the person who's actually going through it. And the person who's actually going through it, 9 times out of 10, they already know that if they can manipulate this person emotionally, that they are going to take on that emotional burden for them. And then they start to fall back, and all of a sudden the load is on this other person that had nothing to do with the situation in the first place. There's a time and point where people get grown, and this is a part of nature, where we got to own up to our own shit. I went through it at a point in my life where I had to accept the fact that it was my responsibility. I couldn't play the blame game anymore. Sure, my parents may have been a factor, but they weren't the sole cause of the whole thing. The bottom line is it was my choice, regardless of what state of mind that I was in. It was my choice, and there are consequences in regards to that. And yes, I did my fair share of emotional manipulation on others to help them get me out of situations. Yes, I'll admit that. But at the end of the day, it never works out because it still winds up falling back in your lap no matter how much that person does for you or how much they pitch hit for you. That situation comes back in your face full circle at the end of the day, at some way, form, or fashion. So for the people who decided they're going to take on somebody else's existence because it's such a mess right now and take on all this additional stress, and 9 times out of 10, you probably got a lot of shit that you got to deal with on your own, and you feel trapped, there is one way to get out of the trap. Set boundaries. And I know it's a sticky thing because you're like, okay, well, part of the reason why they do so and so is because of what I did. Part of you are not walking around inside that person's body. You do not have the same brain as that person. When that person gets up in the morning and goes to the bathroom, you're not going with them. When they get up and take a shower and put on clothes and prepare lunch and go to work, you are not inside of them going with them. There are certain things that they are responsible to do during the day. There are things that they have control over. If they get involved with a relationship with a person and they're going through all the, relationship type situations, good and bad, you are not inside that person's head. You are not inside their body. You are not physically with them. I hear people say all the time, boy, I wish I was a fly on the wall when they had that conversation. Okay, you might have been a fly on the wall, but you were a fly on the wall. You weren't the one having the conversation either. So just because you were a fly on the wall and you heard the conversation, that still doesn't make you 100% part of the situation. Because you weren't having the conversation. You weren't the one that had the thought processes to start the conversation. You weren't encountering the feelings and the thoughts. You didn't have the same heartbeat. You didn't have the same nervous system. You might have been a fly on the wall, but you were a fly on the freaking wall. You still weren't involved in the situation. You were just privy to the situation. So I say this to say this, and I'm going to keep it short because I got to head out of here shortly. Set boundaries. And I know there are some people that are parenting out of guilt right now because of something that they missed, something that they did or something that they didn't do, something that contributed to why this person is acting out. At some point, that person is going to have to take responsibility and deal with that situation on their own in regards to their issues, and it has nothing to do with you. So you're going to have to set boundaries to get out of the trap. Or at the end of the day, you're going to wind up more ill than the person that you're dealing with. They're going to be coming to see you in the hospital. They're going to be taking you to appointments for your psychiatrists or your doctors. Things that didn't exist before their situation was presented to you. Now, mind you, that situation's dead and gone. They're going to be the ones that's going to have to cater to you because you overthought and overexerted yourself into their situation. And the sad part about it, they already know, oh, if I get into so-and-so, I know the big mama's going to take care of me. If I know I get involved with so-and-so, I know Uncle so-and-so is going to take care of me because they raised me. That's a form of emotional manipulation, people. When you have people that think that way, when they already think in their mind that the minute that they get into something that one particular person is going to drop everything and run, that's a form of emotional manipulation because that's saying two things. First of all, that person has no intention of straightening up the bullshit they keep getting involved in because they wouldn't even come out their mouth and say, if I get into so-and-so. They've already got it in their mind. It's going to happen later on. And the second thing that they got in their mind is if they get into it, that so-and-so is going to run to their aid. And this poor person is thinking they're doing the right thing, but then when things start happening to them and start crumbling in their own personal lives because they're taking attention away from situations they should be dealing with to try to help this person who really doesn't care for them on that level, all of a sudden they're the victim and they need the Lord and they need this and they need that. But that attention is not given to them. So then they lash out at the person who emotionally manipulates them, and all of a sudden they're wrong. All of this could have stopped if you just set boundaries. And I know it hurts for some of you because you probably could have been directly involved with the reason why that person behaves that way. But there's a stopping point. There's a stopping point. You can't spend your entire life account every time they make a mistake or head in the wrong direction. Oh, it's because I did so-and-so when they were 6, or I did so-and-so when they were 2. This person lived 30, 40, 50, 60 years, and here you are 80, 90 years old, walking with a cane or in a wheelchair, and you're still giving yourself that same narrative. When is it going to stop? Maybe you need to go see somebody about the issue. Come to terms with it. Learn a lesson, because that guilt is overtaking you to the point where you're not making right decisions in regards to helping people. Let me say that again. Your guilt regarding that situation is affecting your decisions in regards to helping people. That's not a good thing. And it's taking more of a toll on you than the person that you're helping. And they don't care. It's kind of a form of emotional revenge, really, if they keep coming to you all the time about the same trouble, won't do anything to fix it, and figure in the back of their mind, well, they owe me because of so-and-so. That's revenge. That's emotional revenge, y'all. Where's the love? Some people have to be left alone to fix their shit. That's the only way it's going to work. It worked for me. And either they're going to make it or they're not. Nature's going to do what it's going to do. We're all getting older. Nobody's getting younger. The clock doesn't go back 50 years. And you don't figure just because you're back in somebody's life or you've been covering them, you've been treating them ever since they were 8 years old, covering their back. And all of a sudden here they are 38 and you're still treating them the same way they were when they were 8 years old. You didn't go to biology class. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Peace.